Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Fireside Chat with Cindy and Sam.
And Wilson.
And Wilson. Wilson's hiding behind the coffee table. The fire gets too hot for him, so he spends most of the winter either behind the couch or behind the coffee table, in seclusion, trying to stay cool.
Shielding himself from the heat.
Exactly. So when we started our channel back in, was it 2013?
Mm-hmm.
Our whole reason for doing that was to preserve memories that we enjoyed, we loved, for viewing at later dates. We really had no intention of putting out a channel, for other people to watch. It was just kind of for us to preserve our memories.
Yeah, Sam was worried I was losing my memory back in 2013, so you can imagine what it's like now.
Technically, I was worried she was losing her mind, but mind, memory, they're all the same. So this past weekend, I got to make a memory that I will probably never forget. The worst part about it for me was I was by myself. Cindy was over here at home, in bed most of the time because it happened so early in the morning. But it's November in Indiana, so deer season, gun season started on the 12th this year, which was really early. I don't ever remember it being that early before in 31 years. They changed the date around year to year, but it was really early this year. So the weather leading up to deer season.
It was warm and sunny, and we made a couple videos and really couldn't get over how beautiful the weather was that week. But things started to change towards the end of the week.
Yeah, we went from 70 degrees at the beginning of the week to 60 degrees on Friday, so it was a big change. But we got a text, or I got a text Friday from a friend of mine showing the weather forecast for Saturday morning, which was opening day of gun season, showed 2 inches of snow across south central Indiana where we live. I looked at it and I just laughed. I was like, I've fallen prey to this before. They get this big buildup and it's going to snow, and I just absolutely love snow. So, to see that, I just kind of chuckled to myself, showed it to Cindy, and she's like, that'll never happen. So, all night long, Friday night, I'd wake up about every hour, check the clock, still not time to head out. Finally headed out to my blind about 5 o'clock in the morning. No snow. I mean, there was no snow anywhere.
It was cold, right?
It was, yeah, it was definitely cold, and I did look at the radar, and it showed a big area of snow on radar, but that doesn't mean anything around here. You can be covered in white on the radar and nothing's hitting the ground. So went to the blind, made my breakfast just like I always did, and I just stayed up front. I'm not a true deer hunter. This is South Central Indiana. I don't even think what we do here is called deer hunting. It's called deer sitting. You find your tree, or you get a blind and you sit in and you wait for something to come along. It's not like out west where you actually get to hunt the animals and you got to find them. Here you just wait for something to walk along in front of you, and something might and something might not. But my deer blind, I didn't read anything anywhere that says you have to suffer doing this. So I've got heat, I got carpet, I cook breakfast, I have coffee. I enjoy my time in my deer blind as much as I do the actual deer hunting part of it. So I got over, about like 5 in the morning, got my breakfast going, ate my breakfast, took a little nap, woke up, opened the windows up about 20 minutes before first light, still no snow. I just chuckled to myself thinking, here's another busted forecast. And it's always been, I wouldn't really say it's a dream. It probably is a dream because it probably never happened, but it's always been a goal of mine to be able to cross country ski to my deer blind during deer season. And, this is probably the closest I'm ever going to get to that. So first light comes, I see some deer. I had a buck walk, I don't know, probably 60 yards out in front of me on an inner loop trail in our woods. And I saw him and I saw where he went, but I never got a clear shot at him. So I just watched him go away. There were some does playing. And about 7:30, it started snowing. And I'm sitting in my blind all nice and warm, got my coffee, and I'm watching the snow come down. I'm like, well, at least we're gonna get some flurries. And by 7:45, it is coming down really hard. And you texted me what, about 8 o'clock when
Mm-hmm.
you woke up, and I sent Cindy a picture of me smiling in my deer blind, and she knew why. I was in my happy place, in the woods, watching the snow come down. I mean, it was just beautiful.
Yeah.
And it was snowing so hard, in fact, by 8 o'clock that there were a bunch of small beech trees around my blind, and the limbs got so heavy they started to weigh down and block my sight lines. And I only have a few good shooting lanes in my blind, but it's centrally located around 5 deer trails, so I get quite a bit of traffic there. But I just have select areas I can shoot in. Well, then when the snow came and started weighing these limbs down, those select areas started diminishing pretty quickly. So I really didn't think I was going to see anything. So I got my phone out and I pulled up the DNR website, and I checked to make sure that the check-in was about the same as what it always been. Because in Indiana we can do an online check-in. So I checked out on my phone and put my phone down and was getting some more coffee. This is about 8:30, and as I turned my head to get my coffee, I saw something coming down the drain from the west, and it was a deer, and I could see.
Lo and behold, it was a deer.
Yeah, it was shocking. So I put the coffee down and got my rifle, and he was still about 80 yards out, and I could just see bits and pieces of him because of the so much foliage with snow on it. Um, I thought there was no way he's going to come down and cross in front of me, and if he did cross, my deer blind has a trail that goes across the bridge up to the blind. And a lot of times I've seen deer come that direction, and when they get to that trail, they turn and go away from me, and then I don't have a good shot. So I'm looking ahead of where I thought he might cross, and I just thought if he gets to that trail, he's going to turn and go away from me, and I'm not going to get a shot. And I had one small lane that I could see that path clearly between two big white oak trees, and that was going to be my only chance if he got to that area to get a shot at this deer. And the snow is just still coming down hard. Um, so I'm just waiting and watching, and he just kept coming, and he kept coming, and he kept heading to that same place. And so I finally got a shot at about 8:30. It was a tough shot between, I only had like 6 inches at the angle I was looking through to get between those two trees, and got a good shot on him. He went down, shortly thereafter, about 20 yards away. So that part was great. Um, here's the downside to this, and my logic is it was 8:30 in the morning. I didn't get to eat my lunch. You know,
You know what he was really thinking? Oh, crud, I can't hide in my deer blind all weekend like I was thinking I was going to have the opportunity to do.
Oh, I still can. I can go back and get a doe. But I got down. I texted Cindy and let her know that I had a deer down, and I gave it about 30 minutes, and let the guy that hunts with me in the woods, I let him know the one was down. So I got down about 9 o'clock after I had my cup of coffee that I was originally going to have. Went over to the deer. Everything was good there. It was actually a little bigger. I'm not a trophy hunter. I hunt merely for meat. We really like deer meat. We grind everything but the tenderloin and use it in place of ground beef in all our cooking. In the last 2 years around here, our deer numbers have been really down because of several reasons, blue tongue and different diseases that have got to the herd. So I didn't harvest a deer in the last 2 years just because I didn't feel right in taking one of the few deers in the area. But this year it's really rebounded. We see a lot of deer. In fact, we just hit one about 2 weeks ago. So, I mean, this for me was just a deer hunt that I will always remember because it's opening morning, south central Indiana. It was 60 degrees the day before. We got 2 inches of snow on the ground opening morning. I didn't get a ski to my deer blind, but yet I got to stand out in the snow, harvest a deer, enjoy the beautiful sights of the woods with snow on. I mean, it was a magical moment, and I just was so lucky and happy to be able to experience that. Just wanted to share that, and I hope if anybody watches this, I hope you kind of get a kick out of it because it was really fun. I mean, I truly enjoyed it, and I hope in 10, 15 years from now, when we're cruising back through our YouTube channel and our video, we come across this, and I will always remember that.
Well, when he texted and said, I've got a 4-pointer down and I knew it was still snowing, my first thought was, is there any bad news I need to tell him? Because now would be a good time. He's in a really good mood. But I couldn't think of anything. So I knew when he got home, I was going to have a happy hunter when he walked in the house. And he was. And he messed around with the deer most of the day, really, processing.
It turned out to be a 6-pointer. It was as big a deer as I wanted. I didn't want anything any bigger than that. The meat quality, I think, just kind of goes down a little bit taste wise. But
You got to tell them about the bruise.
oh yeah, so I mentioned that we hit a deer a couple weeks ago. So we were coming home from a camping trip and hit a deer just a mile north of the house, and he was actually heading down towards our woods. So I get this deer, I get it home, and I'm not one to let deer hang. I always want to get them skinned out and quartered out in ice water to help pull that blood out as quick as I can. So while I'm skinning this deer, I noticed that there is a softball sized bruise on his right rear flank where we hit a deer 2 weeks ago.
What are the chances that it's the same deer?
It would be karma for him if it was. But yeah, I just stood there and looked at that, and I thought, there is a good chance it was him because it looked an awful lot
Same size.
same size, same rack size.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a really good chance that could have been that same deer. So it was just kind of the top icing on the cake at that
we
point.
don't know
So
for sure that's the case, but
no. He didn't have a Chevy emblem bruise. But I think we hit him a little to the right of the Chevy emblem. But it was just a great day. I mean, the temperature was great. It snowed pretty much all day.
Yeah. It was really nice.
We wound up 2 inches, and even the next morning. Generally, when we get snow around here, especially this early in the year, it's gone by noon. The sun comes out, and you can't even tell it snowed. But this hung around all day. And even the next morning, I got up and took a walk in the woods, and I'll share some of the video that I took that next morning. We still had a nice ground cover on.
Mhm.
Ground was white, so.
Yeah.
Definitely will be a hunt that I remember for the rest of my life. Not so much because of the deer I got, but because of the conditions I got it in, and it was just so beautiful.
And if he
So.
doesn't remember, we've got this video to remind him what happened on that really great opening day, 2022.
That's the reason we do this. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys tune in to more of our videos, and we'll be putting more out again soon. So
See you soon.
I thought we had fun. It's hot as hell here.
Oh man, get away from that fire.